Hi everyone, this is Julie. I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what is included in the skills packs. Now please note, if you are buying the year-long comprehension curriculum, there are 19 or more skills packs included in that year-long curriculum, so there will be 19 of these sets. I'm just going to walk you through what is in one of those sets. This is the questions and fiction skill pack. If you open it up, you will see there are 4 or 5 different folders: the core comprehension passages and questions, the digital mini lessons, guided readers, the lesson plans, and the task cards and boom cards. Now, first of all, you'd want to open up the lesson plans because this is going to walk you through how to use all of the components inside of the skill pack. So you open that PDF. And it gives you the layout of what you should be doing over the span of 2 weeks using all of the resources included in the skills pack. Let me zoom in here a little bit. It starts with Monday, what you do for the lesson, how you introduce the skill, how you're going to practice the skill, how you're going to do guided reading with the guided readers, and then options for centers are there. And then walks you through each day with the resources and how you're going to use those resources and what components of the resources to use on each day. And then there's a second week. The first week always goes through with the mini lessons. You're taking the time to do the mini lessons and a lot more guided practice. And then the second week is where you release some of that responsibility to your students and you're doing more passage practice. That way your students are getting a balance of both real mentor texts through the mini lessons and then passage practice as well, because we know those skills are equally important. All right, now let me walk you through what these resources actually look like. We'll start with the digital mini lessons because that would be the first thing you would be using. Now when you open that up, you will have a PDF. These are in Google Slides, so the PDF is just going to direct you to that link to make a copy of it into your drive. So you'll click that link, and then it will pop up, ask you to make a copy. You say yes. I'll walk you through how to use it. And then day 1, you can project this. If you're in-person learning, you can just project this on your smartboard or on your projector and walk through each slide as it's broken down by day. So on day 1, you're going to start by introducing the skill with this anchor chart. And you go over this anchor chart as a class. There's a second anchor chart. And then there's a little fun video that also introduces the skill. Here, there's a little drag and drop practice. You can have your students help you engage with that and drag and drop the types of questions. And then there is a read aloud. So you click the read aloud link, watch the video, and then with your class model how you're asking questions. Actually, this is before reading. So you're modeling how to ask questions before you read just by previewing the cover of the Hula Hooping Queen by clicking that link. So we're doing all before reading practice. And then we have day 2. Very similar. You're going to listen to the book, go through the questions as a class. Day 3, listen to the book again, go through the after reading questions. And then day 5 is always a review, an assessment type thing. So they're going to choose their own book and then fill out the graphic organizer with their own book. And then there's a little exit slip as an informal assessment to use with your students. I also included a list of recommended books that go really well with this skill if you'd like to use that. All right, let's go back to our folder so I can show you the next component in the skills pack. After the mini lessons would be the guided readers. You would be using those the same week. So again, you'll open up the PDF. There is a PDF version of this. And there's also a digital version, which you'll find the links right in here. tells you a chart for oral reading rates and how to know that you're using just right text with your students, how to teach guided reading, and then here are your plans for guided reading for every day of the week, and a place for you to jot notes as you're teaching guided reading. Here's the link to the digital versions of everything included in this packet. I'll go back and show you that in another minute. There is a running record here for you to assess your students to make sure that this is a just right text for them. And it's on 3 levels, just like the guided readers. So you have the 3 levels of the fluency assessment. There is a passage version of this. If you'd rather just print and save paper, the passage version, you can do so, or you can print the booklets if you want to reuse them. 3 levels of the text for low end of the range, mid-range, and high end of the range. And you can kind of see here, these are not going outside of the 2nd, 3rd grade text complexity band much. Some of them may go a little bit. This one, for example, is 330. That is a little lower than the 2nd grade expectation. Usually the low one I did try to put under the expectation because many of us have students that read below level, so we do need that there. The mid one is usually right smack in the middle of where they should be, and then the high one is usually at the higher end of the range, in the high 6s to the low 800s. And then there's some comprehension questions you can work on with your students. You can just do these orally or have students write out the answers, probably depending on time constraints and whatnot. There's a graphic organizer to practice the skill. And then let's go look at the digital version. And all of this is laid out in the plans. It tells you when to use what pages. Okay, for the digital version, there's 3 digital guided readers. Let's just click on the middle one here. It's going to open up in a web browser. And this is pretty cool because it actually has audio as an option.
The Case of the Missing Pup.
Okay, you flip the pages. Again, there's audio buttons if you would like to do the audio option. Guided reading, typically you wouldn't. You might do this as a 2nd, 3rd read if your students need some more support, but it's an option for you if you need it. If you would like to print the booklet, all you do is hit this download button here, and that will give you the PDF version of the booklet. That way, if you want to print the actual booklet, you have the books. You'll see here, it does full pages. You just, when you hit print, you select to print like a book. That way it automatically does that. You can print it black, white, or color. Obviously, it depends where these settings are in your printer, but mine looks like this. I hit the more options, and then you can change to preferences, I believe it's under. And we want to print on both sides. Hey John, I'm recording a video and I don't know how to print my booklet. I need your help.
You don't know how to what?
I need to show how to print like a booklet. I can't figure that out. It changed because we have a new printer. I'm in the middle of doing a video recording, so.
Oh, okay. Pages per sheet.
It's not pages per sheet, it's booklet.
Sorry. Maybe layout.
No.
Advanced.
No, there's nothing there.
Go to cancel. Cancel that. Go to the little print button. And then, so you click more settings.
Mm-hmm.
Click more settings. Paper size. And then you do the system dialog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So click that again. And then you did preferences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go back to layout.
It's always been there.
I know. Well, it's just so I said the brother printer. I would Google and just say how to print a booklet on HP. Sorry. That's definitely not real. This finisher on our printer. So if you already print a document. Workflow. What does this say here? That's YouTube. Yeah, there should be a page sizing and handling in the print. That's what the other one had. Yeah, go back to the paper quality. Have you checked that one? Do custom there, paper size, let's see.
Mm-mm.
press Control and P on the keyboard. Select your printer from the drop-down menu or selection box, and then click Properties, Preferences, or Printer Properties, depending on the application. Click the Printing Shortcuts tab. Select a printing shortcut from the list to use as a base. The shortcut will not save correctly unless you have selected a previously created shortcut. Click the Paper Quality tab, and then select the paper size of the original document. Click the Finishing tab, and then click the Print on Both Sides checkbox. Click the Booklet Layout drop-down menu, and then select the binding option. Change your page orientation.
It should say it. So it should, when you go into that, there should be a tab for, and there's just not. It's finishing.
Next tab.
Yeah, there's not, so that's a
I
different
know.
printer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand. So let me see.
Oh, booklet layout, I found it.
Oh, where was it?
It's under layout. Okay, I'm gonna finish. I'm recording, so I'm gonna finish it.
Bye.
To print the booklet from here, you just go to your print button. Now it will look different depending on what type of printer you have, but this is the general way to do it. Go into your settings. More settings. I always like to use the system dialog. Go under preferences. Under layout, we're going to print on both sides. Booklet layout, we're going to turn on to left side binding. And then that is it. You just hit OK, and you can print away. And it'll print just like an open book. It should print completely in order. Okay, going back to here, that is the guided reading packet. The next component we have is the task cards and boom cards. The task cards, the printable versions, and the boom cards are the same. It's just the functionality is different. For the printable versions, we have black line and the color. I like to print them in color and laminate them and use them year to year. It makes less work and less prep for you. This is what they look like. There's 4 per page, so you can just print them as is, laminate, and have your students use. There's an answer key if you want them to self-check their work, and an answer sheet. I'll quickly show you what the boom version looks like. You do not have to have a boom account to use them. However, to have the functionality of the self-grading and the reporting, you do need a boom account. So I'm loading it, opening up the deck. Let's first create an account or sign in. I'm going to sign in. Hit the redeem. Oh, is this? I cannot redeem it because it's my own. Okay. So let me just go to my library and I'll show you from there what it looks like. Just going to open open up the first one here to show you. Oh, these are math, never mind. Let's scroll down to a reading set. Just going to open this one for ease. Okay, there's an audio option. And then students select their answer down here, and it will tell them if they get it correct. And they can keep trying until they do get it correct, and then it'll advance to the next one. And it will tell you if you have an account, it will report how many wrong tries they're getting, so you can ensure your students are not just clicking until they get it right. They're actually doing the work that goes with it. So that is the Boom task cards. I'll go back to the folder here and show you the last component. The last component is one of the largest pieces. It's the core comprehension passages and question sets. This is what you would be using the whole second week of teaching each skill. In here you will find the answer key, the actual PDF file, and then the Google Slides link, because all of these also come in Google Slides. Zoom out here. This tells you about Lexile levels and how this works, the Lexile bands. Gives you more information on that. Everything you find in the core comprehension packets will be in the 2nd to 3rd grade Lexile band, or if you're purchasing 4th and 5th or K1, they will be in that grade level band. So if you have students that are reading well below level or well above level, you will need additional resources to accommodate them if it's significantly below grade level. Starts with an anchor chart. You can print these off. I always printed these off and used them in student journals, so students could go back and refer to them and take notes as I did my mini lesson. There's 2 anchor charts in this one. And then you'll find 10 to 12 passages in each packet. The passages are Lexile level. They start with the lowest one in the range, so this one starts right at 430. And then there's questions that go along with the passage that focus on that skill. So this one's ask and answer questions. All of these questions are about asking and answering questions. You will also notice there's crayons on the side, so students are supposed to use text evidence to underline their answers. This is a really good way to hold students accountable to make sure that they actually are going back into the passage to find text evidence to support their answers, and it really works. Variety of multiple choice, short response, and longer response as well. This one does not have very long response because it's ask and answer questions. Some of the higher level skills have much longer response. So you'll see as you go through the packet, the Lexile levels get more challenging. And it's all laid out in the plan, how to use that and how to scaffold your students up to get them reading at the higher end of that range, which not all of your class students will, but that's the goal. You get them more independent and reading more challenging texts. As you go through here, we see we get higher and higher. And then there is a test, an assessment at the end always. The assessment usually always has 2 passages as well. I like to give the assessment with both passages. I think that's better, gives you better data about how well your students are understanding this skill. Some teachers do break it up though, and that's fine too. So there's a passage. It looks exactly the same as the other, so students go in knowing what to expect and feeling like they can be successful. Looks exactly the same. And one other passage with questions. All right, so that is what you can expect to see in the skills pack. Again, the skills packs have all of these components, each skills pack. And if you're buying the year-long curriculum, there's going to be 19 or more of those to cover you for reading comprehension lessons and activities for your students for the entire year. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or a message and I'll be happy to answer them.